The Bills' bye week is in the books, and we are on to week 8. And as for Buffalo's week 8 matchup, I think they just got a gift from the Carolina Panthers. We're going to tell you what that gift is in just a moment. And then on the back half of today's show, we're going to go through 4 safeties as the Bills could sign in NFL free agency, as the names that are kind of on the trade block at that position, and it's pretty thin at this point. All that and more in just a moment. But first, make sure you go down below, hit that thumbs up icon, baby, because the Bills, they're riding a 2-game losing streak. The Panthers, their week 8 opponent, are riding a 3-game win streak. So if you want the Bills to get back on track after the bye, show me, manifest it, go down below, smash that thumbs up icon, and like today's video. As for the gift that the Bills got for week 8, it's unfortunate for the Panthers, right? Bryce Young, their starting quarterback, leaves the game against the New York Jets. They ended up winning 13-6 with an apparent ankle injury after being cleated and twisted up on here in the second half. Now, Bryce Young did leave the stadium here with a boot on. Now, we know, as Bills fans here, boot signals that there's going to be maybe some time missed as far as what we're looking at with an ankle injury. We saw with Ed Oliver wearing a boot for about a week or so, and then he missed a couple more weeks after that. So this doesn't bode super well for Bryce Young's availability in week 8. Now, he did undergo x-rays. Joe Person here saying that the x-rays on Bryce Young's right ankle were negative, but usually standard practice to follow up with an MRI in those cases. Now, I was looking through Twitter and kind of seeing really how severe this was, and this doesn't seem like it's going to be something long-term for Bryce Young, so very, very good for him. But Pro Football Doc did say that it seems unlikely that Bryce Young will play next week. His ankle injury does not look to be long-term here. So the Bills getting a little bit of a gift here, and I wouldn't normally say that in terms of Bryce Young. Through the first 2 years of his career, he was, you could argue, the worst quarterback in the National Football League, but he's far from that, I think, so far this year, man. And the numbers aren't going to jump off of the page in terms of his completion percentage being the most efficient, or he's not chucking the ball down the field the most out of anybody in the league, because the Panthers honestly have been such a really good run team. But he's keeping things clean for the most part. 11 touchdowns to 5 picks. That's not the Bryce Young that we saw through the first 2 years of his NFL career. He's got some weapons now in Carolina, but it doesn't look like the Panthers will be with their starting quarterback for week 8. So what does that mean for the Buffalo Bills? Well, we get to go see our old friend, the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. Shout out to Andy Dalton, always in Buffalo. That is a hero in that city, getting the Bills their first playoff appearance in a long time, back about 10 years ago. Bills fans still love Andy Dalton, but it looks like they will be on the opposition of him as far as what it goes this upcoming week. He did enter that Jets game. He was 4 for 6 for 60 yards. He ended up coming in a game earlier in the season where the Patriots just blew the doors off of the Carolina Panthers. He came in, threw a touchdown in that game as well, went 4 for 5 passing, I believe, or like 5 for 6 passing, I believe as well. So Dalton still has it. It absolutely still has it. You got to be wary of him, but the Panthers have been kind of riding a groove here with Bryce Young, and now that's kind of being disrupted here. Dave Canales, their head coach, had this to say about the injury. He said, "We're evaluating the right ankle. So we're taking all the information and we're going to look at him and when we get home some more and see where we're at. We'll look at all that and see what the best version of us is. But right now, it's running the football, and Andy can handle all those things and the pass game, the reps, the time to task with the group that we have. We've got to stay within the core of our system, and Andy's fully involved in all of that. So if he does play, that will be the mode." So it doesn't look like the Panthers are trying to lose a step here by making a change at quarterback. And look, I don't blame Dave Canales for having that mentality, because Andy Dalton is as qualified of a backup quarterback as there is. Remember, they went to him in 2024 as the starter before bringing Bryce Young back, and he was okay for a couple of games there. He can absolutely go out there and win a football game, especially against the Buffalo Bills defense that has been porous. It has been just underwhelming so far this year, and has honestly been riddled with injury as well. Look, the number one focus for the Buffalo Bills, as far as when they face the Carolina Panthers, is to stop the run. Now, they have a two-headed rushing attack of Rico Dowdle, who had over 500 yards across 2 games all-purpose, and Chuba Hubbard just came back from injury. So, yes, the number one goal is to stop the run here, but Andy Dalton can make you pay too. So, got to have your best pass rush game of the season so far. And it's really because, not because Andy Dalton can just dice you up and down the field. He can, but I'm not really counting on that. It's just the fact that when he faces pressure, he is so immobile that he's not going to escape really any defender in his face. He'll go down, like he'll just slide and avoid the contact. So get a pass rush on him, make him uncomfortable, and this is going to be a get-right game for the Buffalo Bills. with that being said, we're going to be live for that game on Sunday. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We upload free Bills content, free Bills videos every single day right here on the Bills Breakdown. We also do live streams, watch parties for every game all season long. We just passed 7,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel all season, and continue to do so. If you're new here and you want free Bills content, hit that subscribe button. Now we're getting into some safeties that the Bills could sign here, because I think is a position of need, and I don't think that the trade block out there is super great for that position. And honestly, more so than that, I think the Bills have other needs on their roster, and I would think that a trade is more likely at the wide receiver spot rather than the cornerback or the safety spot. When you think about those positions for Buffalo, well, Max Hairston is supposed to be coming back some point this season. I would presume that he gets activated off of IR this week, but that opens up a 21-day practice window, which would have him probably available for the Week 10 game against the Miami Dolphins. As far as safeties go, the trade block names, we went over that video about Adam Schefter. There were buns safeties on the board. So I think with the Bills, if they want to make an improvement at that spot and don't really feel confident in Jordan Poyer, might want to go to the free agent pool that is out there. So with that being said, the first name on our list, former Tampa Bay Buccaneers safety Jordan Whitehead. Now, we're going to talk about Whitehead, why he is actually a free agent at this point, just around the corner. But I got to tell you guys first about our sponsor on the program. Is this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. If you want to make money watching your favorite sports, then Prize Picks is the way to go. You and I make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid and get you up to 2,000 times your money watching your Buffalo Bills this football season. And look, there are tons of daily fantasy sports apps out there, but I'm here to tell you right now that Prize Picks is the best because of the features that they offer. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy sports app that offers stacks. So if you wanted to take stats from the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup, you can do so. You want Josh Allen rush yards, you want Josh Allen pass yards, you want Josh Allen touchdowns? Yeah, you can do that all in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. They also offer awesome deals like a max discount where they slash stat projections by 99%. And if you think I'm talking gibberish, don't worry, it's super easy. All you guys got to do is pick a lineup of 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on their projected stats. Basketball season's around the corner. Baseball playoffs, the World Series is almost on its way. You can mix and match all these different sports as well. Prize Picks is the best. It's instant payouts. And look, man, take it from me. I've been a customer longer than they've even been a sponsor here at Chat Sports. And look, they're always offering awesome deals for new users. The one they got going on right now is elite. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup, but you got to use our promo code CLNS. You can see in the bottom right of your screen. So download the app today. Use the code CLNS for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Jordan Whitehead, the 28-year-old safety, formerly of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a Super Bowl champion with the Bucs way back when they had that real young secondary with Carlton Davis and Antoine Winfield and Jamel Dean. Whitehead was one of those guys as well. And look, man, he hasn't been the best so far, in a great situation here because he ended up getting in a car accident, earlier this year that ended up having his contract voided by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, he has fully been medically cleared to return, and I think Jordan Whitehead is a really good football player, man. He has a nose for the football. He's good in coverage. Is he the best overall run defender? Maybe not the best in the league at 5'10", 198, but look, man, this guy can play. He's experienced. He has postseason success as well, and look, for a Buffalo Bills safety room that could use all the help it could get, I think a guy taking a chance on a guy like Jordan Whitehead, who was only on about a $4.5 million contract on his last deal, it could be a cheap option here as he looks to kind of get back in an NFL groove. Another name that's on the safety market right now that I'm sure Bills fans have been clamoring for all season long is Justin Simmons here. Now, the issue with Justin Simmons is not only that he may have lost a step at this point in his career, not only that he is 31 years old, but this is a guy who's looking for a substantial deal, to be honest with you guys. And I know he's unsigned right now, so maybe that mentality could have shifted a little bit. But Justin Simmons wants to be a starter. Now, do I think he could be a starter on the Bills? Yeah, absolutely. Do the Bills have the money to go out there and sign him? That's yet to be determined. Could they move some stuff around? Sure. But I think if they're going to be moving money around, restructuring deals, extensions, all that stuff, I think it would be in order to facilitate a trade more so than give a big money contract to a guy like Justin Simmons. The Bills have worked him out in the past before, and I believe that the reason that they did not end up bringing him in is just because of his faults as a run defender. This is a true zone corner. And that's awesome if that's only what you're looking for. But the Bills, they like to move their safeties around. They like to play them close to the line of scrimmage from time to time. And I'm not so sure that Justin Simmons fits that bill all too well. What about Marcus Maye here? formerly of the Miami Dolphins, New Orleans Saints, New York Jets. Now, I mean, if we're talking about age and production, I mean, Marcus Maye, he's nearing senior citizen status in the National Football League, 32 years old here. But if you want to talk about ball hawks and true over-the-top safety, like Marcus Maye was really, really good for a long time. Now, is that same player? Probably not. But again, guys, like the Bills safeties are horrific. Like Taylor Rapp cannot start on this football team anymore. I'm done with it. It's the same deal with Trey White, but we have a guy waiting in the wings in Max Harrison to take that spot away. There's nobody willing to take the spot away here at the safety spot. I cannot watch Jordan Poyer, Taylor Rapp reps for the next 10 weeks. I just cannot do it. So you got to bring somebody in. And if it's Marcus Maye, then you know what? We're taking a shot on Marcus Maye, who was a guy who, former Pro Bowler, like has made plays throughout his career, and I wouldn't mind if Buffalo made a call on. Last name up here, and you knew it was coming, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Look, guys, he has his issues. Like, and let's be honest, a lot of them actually come from the production side this season. He was known, at least as far as at the Houston locker room, in his very few games down there, that he was blaming his mistakes on others, wasn't a really receptive and coachable player in his time in Houston, and then ended up getting picked up by the Baltimore Ravens. He was on their practice squad, and he ended up requesting for his release because they weren't bringing him up. Like, he is a head case, but as far as, opportunity that's out there, I don't think there's any other better landing spot for C.J. Gardner-Johnson than the Buffalo Bills. And with the Bills kind of mentality of, like, the power of friendship and everybody eats, and it's like, they can kind of correct some of those locker room issues when guys come to town. I think it could be worth taking a swing. Like, the Bills cannot have their third level of the defense be as bad as it is. And I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson absolutely still has, some things to offer. He's a guy who can play close to the line of scrimmage. He can make open field tackles, and I think he's worth taking a swing on here if it's a low money deal and if he's willing to buy into whatever Buffalo has going on. With that being said, we talked about 4 safeties. Pick one to sign for me down in the comments section. If it's Jordan Whitehead, give me a JW. If it's Marcus Maye, type a double M. If it's Justin Simmons, give me a JS. And if it's C.J. Gardner-Johnson, throw a CJGJ down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. And that'll do it for today's show. So make sure you give me a follow over on Twitter as we talk more about Bills and heading into Week 8. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well, as we'll be bringing you guys Bills content all leading up to that matchup with the Carolina Panthers. We'll also be live for that game on Sunday. So we'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, let's go, Buffalo.